Hi everybody, welcome back to another flight. Thanks for joining. Today we're going to do an IFR flight from San Antonio all the way to New Orleans. And we're going to do this IFR because I need to do some practice on that. And we'll go ahead and get the plane started here because we got a bunch of stuff to put into the flight plan. And we'll go ahead and start that APU. No ground power today. So we're going to be leaving from KSAT, and our destination's going to be New Orleans, KNEW. So KNENW. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and put in our waypoints, and then we'll put in our procedures. So here we've got HENLY. And HENLY is going to go to J131. It's an airway. We'll put a star here. And then SPURS. So SPURS. Make sure this works. HENLY, airways 131, and we'll exit out at SPURS. So we'll load that airway. So then our flight plan looks a lot like this here. Make sure there's no issues. Double check the arrival. So it should be LA, yep. Check it again. Okay, Voodoo, KNEW, yep. And then approach is 18 right. Okay. And we're going to be flying at flight level 18,000. So we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and punch in our speed bug. So V1, rotate speed, and V2. And we'll go ahead and get these engines started. So open up the fuel. We'll start the right engine first. So we'll set it to run and engage the starter. So we're waiting for N2 to stabilize at about 60%, and we should be good from there. We'll go ahead and turn off the APU, taxi out to runway 4, and we'll go ahead and get on our way. I'll catch you back once we're taxiing. So we'll go ahead and arm those spoilers. We'll go ahead and flip on pitot heat. Parking brake disengaged. Flaps 1. And we'll get rolling. Takeoff power is set. And rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. V2 plus 10. Flaps up. We'll go ahead and start that left-hand turn. autopilot here and swap to nav mode. And we'll go ahead and use vertical speed and get us up to our cruise altitude of 18,000. The autopilot was not happy with my current course. So for this flight, we're going to fly an arrival, which I also don't normally do. Trying to practice a little bit more with the charts and the plates to actually fly an appropriate arrival. I've got the approaches down pretty well. So the ILS approaches and the longitude, kind of got those down. But arrivals I haven't quite done. It's a lot more prep work before landing, so we'll have to do a little bit of that. But coming across the first cloud layer here, looking really nice. So we're above 10,000. Gonna go ahead and punch in that auto throttle there. Flip it over to, well, let's go ahead and get up to 300 first. Get a little bit more gas. And we'll be on to our first waypoint, which will be SPURS. Well, HENLY, then SPURS, but HENLY's our transition now. Auto throttle's engaged. We'll go ahead and bump up our vertical speed some more. Coming up on our first waypoint here, which is going to be HENLY. We'll hit SPURS and we'll make a right turn out to Puffer. So if we had ATC going on, I would be requesting probably 20,000 to get above this cloud cover. So we're going to pretend that we got clearance to 20,000 and we're going to crank it up here. Hopefully we get across the clouds and we're not just running through an entire cloud layer for a while. So we'll dial in 20 and we will vertical speed up to it. Alright, welcome back. So we're looking at the arrival here, and I didn't realize it's such a simple arrival. The only restriction we've got is we've got waypoints in, but we also have a restriction, an altitude restriction, and a speed restriction. So by the time we get to Audad, which is our second waypoint, we've got to be down to 250 knots and altitude at 13,000. So we'll start making that descent. Alright, welcome back. So we're at the bottom of our descent for the arrival, and we're about to transition out of the arrival onto the approach. And our first fix for the approach is going to be, we have to be at 1,700 feet in order to intercept the localizer. So we're going to go ahead and throttle back to about 250 just to make it easier when we pass that 10,000 link there. So easier to bleed speed when you are flying level, because you cannot bleed speed and descend at the same time. Gravity. So we're gonna go ahead and make this left-hand turn, and we're gonna start moving our way to WIPID, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce that. WIPID, and then we'll move from that to Bogley. And at Bogley is when we intercept the localizer, and that's where we need to be at 1,700. So I'm going to go ahead and start bringing it down, and we'll just make that gradual all the way there. We should be able to do it at 1,500 feet, but we'll gauge it as we go, because I can always adjust accordingly. So we'll cross over this piece of land, and we should be able to take that right turn and activate the approach. Come in on runway 18 right. By the way, I'll have the flight plan in the description if you guys wanted to go ahead and take a flight on this one too. If you do and you post it to YouTube, send me a link. I'd love to take a look. That cloud above us is nasty. Good thing we're coming in below it here. Let's keep an eye on that altitude. We need to get down. We're descending at about 1,450 feet per minute, holding right at 243 knots. Once we make the turn, I'll go flaps 1, and we're gonna go ahead and turn on our landing lights now. Because we've crossed that 10,000 barrier. So speed restriction 250, under 10,000. It's looking like we're going to be able to get down to our altitude here pretty easily. Alright, so here we are, going to make this turn onto our approach. Let's get to see the lights for the runway. That's the one we're going for. Keep on making this turn here. And we're coming up on our altitude for the approach. Beautiful. And we have captured that localizer. Let's go ahead and make this turn here. Let's go ahead and bring down the speed some more. And we'll go ahead and put in 1 notch of flaps. And we're going to go ahead and arm the approach. We'll go ahead and turn off auto throttle. Gear down. And once we get to Bogley, it should go ahead and nose down, follow that glide slope all the way down. We're going to that right runway right here. Give it a little bit more power. We're gonna go flaps 2. We can see the glide slope ball is sliding down, and then we'll follow it all the way down to the ground there. I can see the runway, so we're definitely going to land. Let's go ahead and bring back that throttle a little more. Double check. gear down. Speed brake is ready and armed. We have our landing lights on. Everything looks good, and we're following the glide slope now. Keep throttling back since we're pitching down. We can see the city off to our right there. We're just gonna slowly back off the throttle. Watch our speed. We're right on the ball. $500. 400. 300. Autopilot coming off. 200. Let's go ahead and make sure that we land it. May have to put in some rudder here.
50.
A little bit of rudder. And beautiful. Speed brake. Manual brakes. Thanks everybody for flying with me on this one. If you enjoyed the content, hit that thumbs up, that like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you get notifications when I release more content. And until next time, take care.